Well, welcome to another episode of Midlife Moxie. I'm Gail,
And I'm Jen.
and today we're going to talk about moving your palette into summer because we get so many questions about this. I think some of our answers are really going to surprise you, but people always get caught up on colors for the season of the year or the temperatures. Do you find that, Jen?
Yeah,
When you're
definitely. I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, you think about warm weather, you start thinking about like sunny, bright blue skies, lighter colors feels lighter in temperature. You don't want to be wearing all those dark things, but I definitely feel like if that's your only definition of what you should wear for warm weather, you are eliminating yourself big time and kind of making it impossible for yourself to shop.
And there's some places to make adjustments, and it comes down to how you wear the color, which is
Yeah.
something I love about your color style. We're not just a company that says, here's your colors, bye, good luck, have a nice day. We're all about that follow up and that education of how do you wear the colors?
Yeah.
Like, where do you wear them on your body? How does it translate up onto your face? Because if you've been following along, you know that makeup and clothing works a little bit differently. And throughout the seasons of year, throughout appropriate events, how does color work? So
Yeah.
I want to right off the bat address this idea that it's summer, we shouldn't be wearing black.
I would say that is not, I would disagree completely. Now, first of all, I will say, black really needs to be in your color palette. So if you are someone like me that's bright, warm, and light, or soft, warm, and light, wearing black, unless it's on
Shouldn't
a
be happening at
bottom,
all.
it's gonna look really off in the summertime, especially. So in that case, I would say no, do not,
So, for the
please don't.
purposes of the discussion, let's say your darkest neutral, because for some of you that's going to be navy. For some of you, it's
Yeah.
going to be a chocolatey brown. It may be a very deep camel color. For bright cool deeps like me, it is definitely black. And I
Yeah.
love it. That people get confused that dark colors shouldn't be worn in the summer. And I'm here to say unequivocally false.
I agree. In fact, I think, especially if you were someone that tans, now that this is not, I know not everybody's all about the sun,
Not
but if you
promoting
do,
tanning. We're not promoting not
right,
tanning.
I just don't want
Right?
like,
Yes.
but if you are someone that gets color in the summertime with because you're out in the outside world, it is it is actually very flattering to have a little bit of warmth and tone in your skin, even if you have cool undertones, along with a darker neutral. Maybe it's a lighter top, right? We're talking about a linen blouse, or maybe it's thin straps with that goes into a little cute tank or dress or something. You have a little bit of that just tone. It actually becomes very flattering to wear a dark color. It kind of
On
creates
tan
that
skin is
contrast.
stunning. It is
Yeah.
stunning. But you were stepping into this, and since I'm a style girl, I'm going to go all the way into this. It's into that. How do you wear it? So
Yeah.
when we look at, say, a shoe, there are black shoes that are great for summer, and there are black shoes that I would kill my clients if they wore in summer.
Hmm.
So, how does a shoe become a summer black shoe? We're looking for an open toe. We're looking for strippy straps. We're looking for sandals versus all closed in. Typically for summer, we move away from things that are super clunky. That's not across the board because I actually am awaiting a pair of clunky fisherman sandals. They're white. I cannot wait. But like a little black thong flip flop, a little black strippy sandal can be amazing, especially paired with another bold color. Now,
Right.
should black or your other dark neutral be your go to shoe for summer? No, you should only wear that when it works with the outfit for a reason. Because a lot of us, we have that black neutral in the winter when we don't know what to do, we put it on, which, I like to talk about. Sometimes that results in ending with a thud at the bottom of your outfit. But that's particularly true for summer. If there's not black in the outfit, or it's not white, or it's not red, or
Right.
whatever your deep neutral is, then it doesn't really work as well.
No.
Also, we have to remember in summer, black holds in heat and it can be very hot on our body. So we want to choose those fabrics carefully. Black linen is gorgeous. Chocolate linen, I
Yeah.
actually like those dark linens and very vibrantly colored linens better than like cream and white linen, which I know is the tradition. But linen has made a raging comeback like,
Yes.
starting last year. And every brand is putting out linen. It's affordable, it's often washable, and black linen is beautiful. Now, even if your black linen is washable, let me just warn you, linen often fades. So you
Yes, I have
still
actually have, and I'm afraid to say it out to the public, but I actually have a pair of black linen pants that I actually got myself because I cruise a lot, right? So sometimes to dress up a little bit on the ship, black linen actually is quite lovely, except like you
Gail is
said.
dying over here because we need to get you a chocolate linen pair, and they're
Oh
out
no,
there.
yeah, I have a olive green pair. The
Yeah,
chocolate's just a little bit
they're
more challenging
great
to
for travel.
find.
People don't expect linen to be stiff like they used to.
Yeah.
And I'm a Southerner. I can talk about linen. It's okay. You Northerners may not can weigh in on the topic, but us Southerners can talk about some linen and some stiff. And people don't wear their clothes as pressed and stiff. In the old days, if you don't linen, those pants, they'd almost stand up by themselves. We're not seeing that. It's become a
Nah,
very casual
very
fabric.
relaxed.
But
Yeah.
here's the bottom line. What we do is based in color theory and color palettes. And no matter what the season is, we need to work in your palette. So if a color's in your palette, it doesn't mean you can't wear it for the season of the year. However, there may be some better shifts, but that's going to depend on the type of garment more so and what's going on with your skin. I tan. If you've been around a while, you know I do. I'm a beach girl. I live in a sunny state. It's almost impossible not to. Um, and my skin does become much warmer. So, Jen, do you want to address what happens with our cool types as they become a little warmer, where they might move into their palette? Because this is not about just a color choice of which you like best. This becomes what suits you best. And I'll give an example that you can work from. I, in the winter, can wear some of the icier, really pungently cool tones.
Mhm.
But in the summer, when I'm tan, those aren't as great.
Yeah. So let's do that first. So just to reiterate, people with cool undertones that tend to get some tan or more tan in the summertime. So what's happening is from the outside perspective, you are warming up a tiny bit. Your skin is getting some warmth. There's no such thing. I mean, I don't know of a skin tone that when it gets suntan, it's cool. It's like doesn't look cool. It looks like it's got some warmth, even though you have cool undertones. But what that also means is that your palette shifts. So if you are someone that has cool undertones and you've warmed up because of the sun, you actually shift a little bit more into the warm side of the color wheel. You start to be able to wear some of those corals, those coral pinks, just a hair warmer of a true red than you may normally do. Now, don't go too far. Don't dive it into orange and gold and yellow. That's a big no-no. But you start to be able to wear those corals really, really well. Where in the winter, when you're more fair, it's not as
In the
great.
winter, I'm kind of chalky. And those warm tones, look, that's why people say, well, can't you wear your same colors all year round? If you don't tan and change your skin tone, absolutely.
Right.
My
It's
skin
just, and but
tone,
this is also true for the others. So I'm thinking in my brain, the color wheel, we don't have it up on the screen, but at the top of the wheel, you've got true red, and then you tip over a little bit into the warm side. But also at the bottom, you've got your warm blues, your blue greens to green. And that the same is true. You can actually start to creep over into slightly warmer greens than you may not be able to do when you're more fair. So you just get a little extra. And you may also notice that some of the more lighter colors that you could rock when you were a higher contrast in the winter may not be some of your best in the summertime. So it's your color type doesn't change. What happens is that you get to sort of sort out what's working this season for you versus last season. But most of those colors are still going to be in your palette regardless.
but I want you to hear us clearly. That's because of the change in your skin tone. That is not because that color is not appropriate for the
Right,
season.
right.
We kind of fall into some old rules about when color can be worn. And we're even
Yeah.
seeing with style some really interesting things evolve. Like a few years ago, we started seeing sandals made of suede.
Yeah.
And first I was like, Well, what would you like me to do with that? Because being the good Southern girl that I am, we know you only wear suede in the winter and we only wear sandals in the summer. So now we have a conflict, but it's really just become absolutely a thing to wear. But it's the shoe is a sandal. It's not a suede flat. That covered, that closed in feeling feels more like winter. So we've got to look at garments and shoes and accessories of what is that overall impression that they make? Things that are heavy,
Right.
things that are clothes do feel more like fall winter. Now, some colors we naturally equate with fall winter, but I want to challenge you guys because I think some of those very warm, deeper shades, I'm talking about rust,
Hmm.
the dark terracottas, the chocolate brown, the milk chocolate. I I know we relate these with fall and we say it all the time. They do
Sure.
feel very autumnal. But tell us why those look so great on women in the summer, and especially if you get a little bit of tan.
Well, I mean, same thing we just talked about, right? So you got that. If you already have warm undertones, when you tan, you're going to just start to glow and golden tones. And so you wearing the colors you just mentioned, those terracottas, golden yellows, golden browns, all those yellow based colors, you're just adding, you're just magnifying this golden quality about you. It's just the most healthy, beautiful thing. And the more color you have, what you start to well, it depends on what how you tan and what your coloring is, but you do actually kind of reduce your contrast a little bit. And if you do that, what happens is everything starts to become very harmonious, that you could actually wear lighter colors. Hear me on this one. If you are warm and deep and you tan, you can actually wear a little bit of a lighter color because it's going to create a very beautiful contrast against that warm skin. When you start to fade and you start to lighten up again for the winter, then you'll notice those lighter colors tend to wash you out a little bit. So again, like it sounds like we're promoting tan, but the reality is we get this question all the time, right, Gail? People
Yeah,
ask us
people say, well,
constantly.
what can I wear now that it's summer? I'm like,
Right, exactly. And so
no.
that is why we're addressing it that way. But let's just
Because too, let's take into account we have a lot of self tanners, and I'm a self tanner. I slapped on some color this weekend, went to bed, woke up looking glowy and a little brown, and my legs didn't look pasty. And y'all, let me just tell you, if you think your legs don't look great, there is nothing like a little sunless tanner to smooth out the appearance of cellulite and the appearance of crepey skin. And I have had, let me just, this is a bonus talking about sunless tanning. Sunless tanning, if you've not tried it in several years, let me just tell you, it's come a long way, baby. And what we get now is not that orangey, stinky mess that stains your elbows. These tanners today are incredible. I mean, people can't even tell if my tan is real or it's out of a bottle. And I use one that's a foam and I use the mitt and it instantly stains my skin. So you can see exactly where you're getting it and how much, and if you've got it blended in. It is incredible. And here's the cool thing about it. What they've done is taken these pigments and like when you squeeze mine out of a bottle, it looks gray green.
Oh,
But
really?
it makes me turn a color that's not orange. I mean, you can see how this look kind of I mean, I'm not warranty. Look, my elbow looks just fine. I mean, it's not any lotion yet today, but um, so if you're like, oh, I've got all these age spots on my legs, I've got all these spider veins, I've got dimples, and y'all, there's nothing like slapping on a little bit of that. Now, if that's not for you, we also have leg makeup. There's a few
Yeah.
companies, or you can use your CC cream or your BB cream, a few squirts in your body lotion. So we're not saying go get yourself a melanoma. We're just saying if, and some of you might should so that you feel a little more confident wearing skirts. I mean, I'll just die on that hill that a little color on that leg. It looks better.
Yeah.
It looks thinner. It looks more shapely. And now people are also doing crazy things like creating contour on their face with sunless tanner. Like if they don't want to do it all day, they're doing a little sunless tanner right here and it's good to go. You could also contour through here or touch up areas that like say you've been out in the sun, maybe like me, you played pickleball, you're wearing some sunscreen, but you're getting a little bit, but maybe you've got a little white right here. Sunless tanner can fill that in. But so you do your sunless tanner and you get up the next day, you're a different color. These are the things you need to take into consideration, that those really icy sharp tones may not work as well. Like I would look horrendous in gray in the summer
Oh yeah.
because it can get so warm, that bondo-y blue gray. I would not look good in lilac in the summer, or pastel pink, some of those chalkier, softer tones that I can get by with in the winter when I'm very pale because I can match my makeup
Right.
to it. So that's going to be the next thing we need to talk about with it, is the makeup.
Oh Lord. But before we jump into the makeup, I just want to make sure this message is heard. And that is, we're talking about working within your palette and what works for you. And one of the things that Gail brought up a little bit earlier in this conversation that kicked this whole thing off was, how to work within your palette for the summer. And here's the thing. Your colors, if you are someone that is warm and deep, warm and medium, cool and deep, cool and medium, your colors are definitely darker. And I get that. But things have changed, are definitely very different out there in the stores and what the colors that are trending right now. There are dark, dark, dark colors for the summer in stores. So it's not like, oh, if I wear my dark navy in June, I'm going to look ridiculous. No, it's actually on trend. It's on topic. So don't feel like, oh, I can't wear any of these colors. That is absolutely not the case. Look around what's in the stores, and you're going to start to see that there are actual darker colors that only are in your palette, that are too dark for someone like me, that you actually can wear in the
I can give
summer.
you
So
a great
don't,
example. One of the major retailers for midlife women had a new drop on, I think, Friday. And one of the things they had in there was a deep brown, it's a little bit
yes,
warm brown, but not as light as milk chocolate. And it's linen, and it is a vest and pants.
yeah,
So one thing some of my clients are really loving is this vest waistcoat trend. And
yeah.
some of my clients, let me just clear up this confusion. They'll go, I don't wear sleeveless. The minute I send it to them, I'm like, baby, we're not wearing it sleeveless. We're gonna put a blouse underneath it, or we're gonna put a t-shirt underneath it and make it really cute. And one of my clients lives in a very warm climate, which can get really tricky in the winter because it's still warm there, but she needs to look professional. And that third piece often makes an outfit look uber professional. Well, these vests are giving women, and we know you midlife women are warm because I am. You can add a third piece that doesn't make you swelter in these linen vests and these linen waistcoats over a very sheer, lightweight blouse. These are also great if you are a little uncomfortable about sheer, lightweight blouses because the size of your breasts or the jiggle on your chest or lumps and bumps. That gives you coverage through that midsection. But in that dark brown color, they're actually stunning with some of the things that make sense during the summer, like a strippy sandal, a
Yeah.
woven purse. And if y'all don't understand, woven leathers are warm weather specific
Yeah.
for the most part, unless they're woven on suede. So that raffia, these basket purses are back in, these woven straw. So when you tie in that dark brown in like a linen, a cotton, a twill, with those woven natural elements that are so popular,
Yeah.
some shells, again, raffia, macrame components are having a moment, crochet. It is stunning. So if you're warm, you run get yourself some dark or some whatever your darkest neutral is, linen, and tie in those natural elements, and it will be the most stunning look. And you
Yeah.
mentioned navy, so let me tell you how you're going to wear navy in the summer. You're going to wear it with white. You're going to wear it with red and white. You're going to embrace what we're seeing this. It's kind of an extenuation of the nautical trend, but it's a little bit upper East Coast. Um, Sun drenched days, fishermen, the open weave sweaters. So imagine a navy pant with a navy tank, but then you throw on a very open weave white sweater over it. That's not making you hot. It's just providing that layer. Or if you're not high contrast or not bright, you soften it with something like a very washed out kind of red sweater, something that's a lower contrast. That's very in that washed out look goes along with that fisherman look.
Yes,
And
definitely. And you can get like even like the if you think of the color of the raffia of the basket weave shoes, there's loose sweaters in that too, which may not be as
yeah,
harsh than white for
oh
those. Like
yeah,
that's something I would gravitate towards versus the
camel,
white.
wheat, any of those colors for you warm girls will look great with navy. And navy is one color that is year-round appropriate. Now, again, a navy shoe, if you go there, it needs to be a sandal. It needs to
Definitely.
be, you could get by with a ballet flat, especially if it was fabric, which we have a lot
One of the
of.
reasons I love a neutral in the summertime, whether it's white, black, navy, brown, is that you can have a lot of fun with your shoes. Especially, I mean, for me, like I mean, yes, we should have fun with our shoes all year round, but in the summertime, I feel like you can get a bunch of different colors, sandals and stuff, and they all just go with your neutrals. It's not like you have to fight anything, and so it's kind of fun just to pop those colors in when maybe you don't have a lot of colors as tops in your closet, you know?
You
So
know, two, I find in general, summer shoes are less expensive. There's less fabrics. It takes less leather to make a summer shoe. So you can get a cute little strippy, colorful sandal a lot cheaper than you can get a great pump. Um,
by the way, before we jump into makeup, because I haven't forgotten, jumpsuits are having a huge moment this summer,
and
and I'm
rompers,
in love
jumpsuits, rompers, they're everywhere. In fact,
everywhere.
one of my clients this week got the coolest denim jumpsuit. It almost looks like a race car driver with a little
Cute.
tab at the top, but it's
Yes.
sleeveless and she has a body to die for. It is going to be the cutest look. We're going to pair it with some bright shoes. She has red hair. She's going to be stunning, stunning, stunning. You know her too, so I can't wait for you to see this look we got. Um,
Sounds
I'll tell you too, before we go to makeup, I want to talk about a lot about travel because people ask us a lot about, well, summer, I do more travel. So
Mhm.
I need some little capsule situations. And I have a rule with my clients. I say, when you find something that's perfect at the right size, the right price, all the stars align, don't leave it sitting in the store. Because when you go
Right.
back for it, it may not be there. So I'm going
Right.
to give you an example. I had this little outfit that I loved, but I lost weight. It was too big. But last summer, the end of the very like, I'm talking September, October, y'all. I'm talking like late. That same little set. And what it was a French terry little skirt,
This is very
mini.
Gail, by the way. Very Gail.
Oh my gosh, so cute, little athletic, and a little French terry short sleeve zip up hoodie. Died, loved it, and it's white, my favorite color, my favorite non-color, my favorite lack of color. There you go, white. And they had that thing marked down so far. So I went ahead because I said, this is something I can use like crazy because I can use it as a set. I can use it with just the skirt. I can use just the jacket. And so I grabbed it in like September, October, knowing I would wear it this season. So this summer, this weekend, I whipped that joker out. I wore this top one day, the bottom one day. Pieces like that, when you see them, you need to grab them, even if you're not going to wear it a few months, if you can possibly budget for that. Also, if you think about travel, I know we all like our statement pieces, but I can tell you when I travel, like especially to the beach, it's basics for me. It's t-shirt dresses, sweatshirt dresses, that little two-piece situation, some skirts, and it's in a pretty simple color palette because that limits me from having to take a ton of jewelry. That's when I usually take what I call my um what's the word?
I don't
Uh
know.
when you go to work, you have your uniform jewelry.
Uniform. Oh,
My
yes,
uniform
uniform.
jewelry is this pair of earrings, a silver bangle, and a silver
Right.
charm bracelet and my rings. That's my uniform jewelry. Which what I mean by is that is if I'm not matching earrings to my outfit or have something specific in mind, if I'm just walking out the door, that's what I grab. It stays in a special dish. And I kind of teach my clients that this is what you wear when you're not making choices or you're not really styling a whole look. I'm running to the grocery store and I need to put something on. So usually on vacation, that's the kind of things I will take, especially if it's a vacation like a beach vacation where I'm not there to be seen. I'm there to have fun in the sun, quick
Right.
dinners out. It's a low key island where we usually go. Now, I went to New York last week. Now that's a different situation. I had to take a few more things, but if you work in a little color palette and you find pieces that can do dual work. Even in the summer, I know in the winter we think of jackets, but in the summer, get yourself a linen short in your best deep neutral, whether that is for you camel or chocolate or brown. Get yourself a denim short. I got a great pair of denim shorts from Macy's lately. I will wear those till they fall off. Get yourself a longer pant, maybe a linen little drawstring. Get those simple things in your best colors. It don't feel like your best colors have to change. And if you don't change your color at all, your skin tone, wear the exact same colors. It's absolutely okay. It's going to be how you style it and
Right.
how you put the colors together. So in the
Yep.
winter, perhaps you wear that brown pant with a deeper tone top. But in the summer, you switch and pull one of your yellows from your palette. Yellow and brown, it takes my breath away. It is like I would almost want to be warm so I can wear yellow and brown together because it is so stunning. And we're going to end this call by telling you some of our favorite summer color combinations. But ask me about makeup, Jen. Let's talk about that.
Oh, Gail, what do we do about makeup when you tan in the summer?
Well, here is where things get a little complicated if you want to be full in. And some people think I'm a little cuckoo and take things too far, but I don't agree. So, like on my skin, when Jen, I do not. When I'm very, very pale in the winter, tones, shimmers that have a little silver in them, like in my eyeshadow or as a highlighter or as a gloss, look very good on me. Those are my tones. But once my skin gets a little deeper and warmer, that silver metallic particle that's in a lot of products doesn't work as well because it will sit on the skin. So, good example of this, I was with a client and she's very dark toned. And she started pulling out these eyeshadows that were like that crystalline color, that were
Yeah.
white, and they had a shimmer to them that was on the whitish side. I gasped. I said, this goes right in the trash. Really white tones of makeup, like white clothes will look great on tan, but white tones of makeup do not work. And silvery tones, even though I'm going to wear silver jewelry, but those silver shimmers that are in makeup and those pastel iridescent shimmers don't typically work as well on tan skin or with deeper tones like if you're wearing chocolate brown or something. So even for someone like me who's bright cool deep, in the summer I'm going to make a shift and I'll show you. I just bought a product the other day. If I wanted a highlighter, but in the dead of winter, I would use one that's a little iridescent. But I went with a color I don't even like. Don't like the color, but y'all know why. I don't like rose gold jewelry. I don't like it. I think it's confused. It confuses me. But I want rose gold
As everyone
highlighter
wants to be.
because a rose gold highlighter has both pink and gold in it. So on my skin for winter, I mean, for summer, as I get a little tan, it was perfection. Like that's what I have on right here. It's rose
Gail's a
gold.
master when it comes to color mixing on skin, like no other.
I love
Like
it.
you're like an artist.
Have I showed you my blue mixing kit?
Yes, you
Hey, it
have.
makes me joyful. But like this looks so good, this rose gold. And I'm telling you, I'm not a rose gold girl, so I'm not hopping for rose gold. But you've got to think about how things work on the skin. So in the winter, I can wear some very light, I can get into some of the chalky pinks even with a deeper liner. Even though I'm bright, cool, deep with the right thing, when I want something really neutral, I can go there a little bit. That's my neutral would be a chalkier pink, a rosy, chalky kind of color. But in the summer, so if they've got that white undertone in makeup, it doesn't work as well. You need more pigment. I don't mean more makeup, but you need to have a bolder pigment. It's got to come through.
Is this true then also for warm undertones? Meaning, if I actually tanned, which I don't, but if I did, would you tell me then like the lighter tones that are in my eyeshadow palette would not work anymore for me?
It depends on how much of a shift you have because with my warm clients, most of you don't have white undertoned makeup anyway. I pick things for you that have like a cream base,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
slightly
So it's
warm
not the
anyway.
same
So like
thing.
your lightest eyeshadow color is going to have a creaminess to it,
Right.
whereas mine may be almost white. It's got
Oh,
a
I
touch of
see the
cream
difference. Okay. Yep.
because our skin does have cream in it. The whitest of us, there's a touch of creaminess to
Mhm.
that. So white is really not a makeup shade most of us should wear anyway. And then this is where skin works different than clothing because white is one of my best clothing colors. And I love white. Like I will wear it head to toe and be the happiest human. I probably shouldn't because I'm terribly messy. But that white and that silver cast in there, gray cast, those things in makeup do not sit well on skin that's a little more tan. Now, some of these shifts are subtle and you certainly need to check your foundation because your skin may not only get a little deeper. If it gets warmer, you may need a cool foundation in the summer, but you may need to move more towards a neutral a cool foundation in the winter, but move a little more towards a neutral. And the beautiful thing right now that's going on in beauty is almost every big brand I know in their concealer and foundation lines, they're telling you what the undertone is. There's no more guessing. It'll have a W, a C, or an N, and most of them, even if they're still using names to give the product a name, there's also a number. And so you can look and say, gosh, in the winter, I'm 3C. I'm going to get just a touch of tan. So maybe you go up to 4, but look for an N. And that will move it not only deeper, but more towards a neutral tone. And even though I'm bright, cool, deep, so many times my foundation winds up being neutral because even though I'm cool toned, I have sunspots on my face that are very golden. So that causes a lot of conflict. And I have to kind of split that difference. So there's a lot of things that go into that, but you typically want to move away from those very light, shimmery, what I call chalky tones into things that are a little more grounded. So for me as a bright, cool, deep, I won't be wearing much pink eyeshadow in the summer because it would tend to float on my skin once I get a little color. I will lean more into those browns, which even though some of those browns are not in my palette for color, they are in my palette for eyeshadow because we pull eyeshadow number one off our eye color and number two off our skin tone. So I will move into some of those russety tones a little bit when I wear a coral lipstick. Absolutely works because my skin is more gold. So I shift from like those pale chalky and those real purpley icy pinks into deeper pinks, a little bit more towards some colors that are a little more neutral, but they're neutral and deeper. And then also to bold, bright corals, warm reds, hot pinks versus a very cool pink. That subtle shift from a pink that's very cool to a pink like these will make the way it lays on your skin. I mean, you can even see how that just goes into my skin will be very different than a pink that looks like this purpley pink. Once I'm really tan, that's not going to sit well as a lipstick on my skin. It still may work as a blush because it will blend in. But that's kind of.
So we've got, if basically to sum things up, right? If you don't really change in coloring, then your makeup stays the same unless you just need to know your makeup colors, then get a makeup analysis with Gail. But otherwise, nothing changes. It sounds like to me the biggest adjustment sounds like for those that are cool undertones that happen to tan. And by the way, it is a myth. It is a myth that cool people with cool undertones don't tan. I'm sorry. People, I get emails all the
Heck,
time.
in August,
I go,
baby.
I don't, I don't tan, therefore I must be cool. That is absolutely just not the
It
case.
can be an indicator, but it's not a rule.
It, there's
Because
just so
we
many
have,
different uniquenesses about people, but so it can be
yes, like
confusing.
ethnicity. Like
Yes.
I'm as white Northern European as you can possibly be, with a lot of Scotch Irish, a little Norwegian, but I
Yep.
also have Cherokee Indian. So when you throw that in, white girl becomes I look like a bronze woman in like I have literally one time had to dip over into bronze foundation, put a little bit with my beige foundation. I was so dark.
So for those that get a little bit extra color in the summer, especially with those with cool undertones, it sounds like the makeup needs to shift. We're avoiding some of those really, really icy tones, those things that are just going to feel too cool on the skin once you get some warmth. But it also sounds like for those that are already have warm undertones, even if you get more color, your makeup really doesn't shift all that much. In fact, if anything, you just might be able to go a little bolder with some of your lip colors and that kind of a thing, it
Yeah,
sounds
just
like.
lean into your warmth. It's your
Yeah,
season. I mean,
yeah.
for us cool people, it's sometimes it feels like winter's our season because some of those colors associated with winter are some of our best colors. But you in the summer, lean into all that warmth, lean into
Yep.
bronzers and contours. And I'll also give you a little tip too. Say maybe you just feeling a little milky on your face. There are bronzing drops that can you just take a little drop and put it into your moisturizer and just give yourself a smidge of color. So if you're just feeling like I am not a tanning girl, I'm not going to get a spray tan, I'm not tanning myself, but I would like my face to just look like I've come out of, outside, then you
Mhm.
can just put like one little drop of those and they just will just tint your skin a little bit. Now, some people say, well, I don't tan my face. I just match my foundation. Oh, dear. This one can get really ugly because when foundation color is not correct, it does not cover the same and it will always look a little odd. So if you're not tanning your face, but you're tanning the rest of your body and you think you're just going to make it up with foundation, be cautious. I would rather see you do something sunless on your face or use things like bronzer and contour to give it some color. To just darken your foundation can be a disaster because, like around your hairline, you're going to have these oddities.
Right.
So let me just remind you, ladies, when you're applying your foundation, don't hesitate to tap your ear a little bit because sometimes our ears are wider than our skin. I just kind of got into that lately and it really works. You can make up for color, lack of color with contours and bronzers. So here's the thing. A contour can be used as a bronzer, but a bronzer should not be used as contour. Most of the time, bronzers have shimmer, contours do not,
Right.
because contour is to create shadow and shape. Bronzer is to give us a glow and color. But because I'm midlife and I have a lot more texture on my face, I use my contour as a bronzer. So, like, I'll just even for those of y'all who are watching, I'll just show you like this is a contour I'm using. It says bronzer and contour. And I can take and just put a dot on my forehead in each place and just take a brush and blend that out a little bit. And it's just going to look like I got a little sun right there. And I don't look like it's just white. You see how I just look sun kissed now. And that's the same color foundation. So do those things rather than just trying to wear a darker foundation. Because if your foundation is too light or too dark, I promise you, you will not get the correct coverage. It's
No,
just something
it just
like
doesn't look it just doesn't look good. Like I know it's like sometimes just
never
like we
work.
all do, we do things. I shouldn't say all, but it's so easy to do what we've always done. And
Sounds
sometimes we
like a
don't
good
see
idea.
ourselves anymore. So I've seen women all the time wear foundation that's entirely too dark for them, entirely too orange for them, or whatever. And they think they look really good or healthy or suntanned because it's what they've always done. But gosh, you don't need that. You don't need
You're
to
going to be
cover up
much
like
better off
that.
with some careful warmth and color placed on your
Yeah.
face, like contour here, maybe a little up here, you know.
Because there's nothing unhealthy about showing your more fair skin. Like there's
That
nothing
is going
unhealthy
to
with
look
that.
much more natural than if you um, darken your whole face too.
Right.
When we darken our whole face, it can start to look very ruddy and it can actually make us look more aged versus some carefully chosen placement. Now, another thing in summer, you may want to brighten or darken your cheek color. Even someone like Jen who does not tan in the summer, I'd rather see a little more pop on there just to look all, just to look bouncy and bright for the season. It's just going to give you that feeling. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to wear as much makeup in the summer. This is where the 5 minute face really comes into
It
play.
does.
And that's where I teach you. And we have a whole thing about this on your color style, a whole
It's a
class.
course. Yeah, just go to courses.
And
Yep.
I really teach you to work with just a handful of products, but in the summer, that becomes even more important because we typically want lighter weight foundation, but we need something that provides a little color on our cheeks, lips, and then mascara at a minimum. And that can go so far, especially when you've got a little color, you're sweaty. Y'all, I went to a ball game. Saturday was a barn burner of a day, but I got home and my makeup still looked great. My mascara did not flake, did not drag, nothing. It's all about choosing the right five products. And those five products for summer are probably going to be very different than your five best products for winter. So we need to just make subtle adjustments in both color and formula to make that work. And so we tie this makeup back into the clothing. When you take the makeup and change it up a little bit for summer, lighten it, brighten it, whatever you're going to do, that's going to make the clothes feel more summery. The accessories, you could put on a white shirt and a navy pair of pants, and we could accessorize that for summer, or we could accessorize that more for winter, and it looked totally different just with the hair, makeup, and accessories. So a lot of this comes down to the styling. Don't feel like you need to throw your best colors and your favorites in the corner till next, till October, because it's just not true.
I agree. Completely agree.
Now, Jen, we said we would end with this. So I want to know a favorite combination for soft and cool for summer.
Soft and cool for summer. I would say white. um, a, a chalky, no, a gray blue, silvery gray blue. Because soft, cool nights don't. Did you say soft and cool only?
Soft and cool.
I had to catch up. Sorry. I would say, yeah, a gray blue, which, could be darker depending on your tones, white, and honestly, adding in a little bit of like mauve, like a deep plummy mauvey
Mhm.
pink.
If you're soft and cool and you want a little more of that nature kind of feel, I'm going to encourage you to check out taupe.
Yeah, taupe is a nice neutral
Taupe
for
with
sure.
mauve, taupe with a deep blue, or a little taupe with a beautiful soft yellow. Oh,
Okay. I would say okay, but I think taupe, because it has kind of a pinkish quality, taupe and pink, in my opinion, is better.
I'm
We're gonna
I'm
fight.
I'm dying on my yellow hill. I am on a crusade to get the bad name of yellow wiped out of this thing because
I
not enough
agree.
people are
Everyone,
wearing yellow, and yellow is phenomenal.
there's a
I
video on YouTube about wearing yellow. Everyone can wear it.
it's
Everyone
and
can wear
you
yellow.
wear it. Why do you want to wear the same colors everybody else anyway? The fact that not many people wear yellow makes me want to wear it every day. Okay, bright and light.
Bright and light or bright and
I'm
warm?
sorry, bright and warm.
Bright and warm. For the summer. Let's see. For the neutral, I would say the what we're seeing out in the stores, the brown or navy. I think both are really lovely. People will say, what about beige? What about khaki? Those are all fine, but honestly, we can do better. So that, and then something bright to go with it. So whether it's a tomato red or golden yellow, not that canary yellow, it's got to be a nice golden yellow. I think that would be just beautiful. So a darker neutral, navy or brown, and then golden yellow or like coral or tomato red, something like that.
Okay, for bright and warm, I am going with my girl Coral
Yeah,
and
coral.
Coral. And if you're on the very light end of the spectrum, you can go with peach.
Yep.
But you other girls, Coral into your rusty reds with like
Coral's for light people too.
terracotta or that dark chocolate brown. Or if you want to go on the lighter end, I'm going to debate Jen. She said beige. I'm going to call it sand. But sand is not ugly like
No,
khaki.
it's a great light neutral. And I know again, we people want that light neutral. And I would say, yeah, I have that. I have those in like linen pants. And so they're perfect. Just, one of the things I try to avoid when I wear something that light is a darker a darker top because now you're creating this contrast that
So
like I don't
I would
have.
want the coral on top and the
Yeah,
sand on the
coral on
bottom,
top, perfect.
and then a coral sandal, and
Yep.
then maybe a little raffia bag in that sandy color. Oh, kill me
Yeah.
now.
Coral,
Beautiful.
honestly, on all warms, doesn't matter how, if you're light or deep. It's a beautiful color. It's just salmon, coral, peach, you name it. Those are going to be wonderful, light, warm colors for you, for sure.
Hey, bright and cool.
Well, depending on your contrast, if we assuming you're someone that's got a higher contrast, I would say white, absolutely. Let's have fun with a really bright pink. And honestly, and black. I would say white, black, and pink is just a fun, bright, cool, deep combo for the summer.
Yeah.
Can't beat
And
it.
I love all black and all white on a
Yeah.
bright leaf in the summer. Like go all the way, head to toe. Like make it just a statement. Everything's white, everything's black. I love that look.
And honestly, I think too, depending on your eye color, and this is specifically for someone who's bright and cool, is that if your eyes are blue, man, own the blue. You got like the bright sky blues or the royal blues, wear the blue. And if you've got more of a green, wear the green. And green is not a warm color. People think it's warm and therefore they're like, oh, I can't wear that. I have cool undertones. No, 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 no. True green. Wear the green if you've got green eyes and
I have
obviously
green
pink.
eyes, and
Always, always
summer
pink.
is one time I dip into the corals. So here's where even bright cool deeps, the coral and what
Yeah.
I call a very deep tangerine orange, not the one I've got on today. This is a little light for me, but it's part of a pattern. And we're talking about patterns now. So my pattern has all these other
I
cool
like
tones, so
it.
I
Yep.
can have it. But a very like think blood orange kind of orange. That's the only time I can wear that is when I'm tanning, and it gives me, it's just fun to have a color that feels a little different. Now, I would still pair it with my white. I do not pair the orange with black because that looks like Halloween, but I
And
would
yeah, swings off with that for
pair
sure.
it with the white or with denim.
Yeah.
Those corals, the reds, the tangerine oranges, the blood orange, all those really pair well with
And
denim.
those corals and the blood orange, those are in the expanded digital color palettes, right?
Yeah.
They're not in the fans, but we expanded it in the
We had to fight
digital.
about it and we
Yeah,
got
we
there.
did fight about it, but I people are really excited about it because again, in the summertime, I've had a couple bright cool deeps go, oh, but I was on this coral kick. Well, good news. Good news. We
And it's
call it
usually
perfect
girls
coral
like
in the
me that
palette.
can, but I do not wear coral in the winter. I
Oh,
could, but it's not going to be best.
it
We're
starts to
going
look orange
best.
against a cool tone. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing. If you put the coral on and it's looking orange against you, it's probably not for you. That's when you kind of go lean more into the cool side of things. But if it's looking pretty
A good
great,
rule of thumb for you girls that are cool. You're choosing oranges that have a lot of red in them. That's the
yeah,
bottom line.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so what do we not do?
Soft.
Soft and warm?
Yeah, but I think it kind of feels the same for the bright and warm. I mean, yeah, you're softer, so some of those sharp, sharp brights are not going to feel great. But when we talk about things that are lighter, like coral, salmon, peach, all the same things we just talked about, whether you're wearing stone on the bottom or beige or khaki, or if you want to go a little bit more rich with navy or darker brown. I think it all works regardless if you're bright or soft in this case. I really do. I
For
don't
those
think you
who
should
don't
limit
know the
yourself.
difference, if you take coral and add white to it or cream, you're going to wind up over in the salmon category.
Yeah, you'll get much lighter version. Yeah.
Now tell them how we get to peach.
Oh, orange. It, peach
We
is
start with
orange.
a more pure orange that doesn't have the red in it, right?
Right. I would say, I mean, everything has a scale, right?
Sure.
But think about orange, any version of your orange. And if you add white, you're going to get a peach. The redder that is, the more we get into the salmons and then into the corals and then into pink, which is really a
A
warm
hot
pink next
pink,
to the
a
red.
warm, which
Right.
is, and I wear
But
in the summer a lot more than the winter. Is that
right. But
give
peach is a wonderful color. It
hot
is
pink?
how we describe a lot of people that have skin like mine. You have the peaches and cream, and it's because it's just we have that warm skin. So um if you are
Those
soft,
colors, peach, salmon, coral, red, they
yep.
make blue and green eyes
Yes.
pop like nobody's business.
Hmm.
But I'm going back to I'm riding hard. I'm riding hard for
On
it.
the
It's
yellow.
my yellow. And I want to see a soft and warm in a beautiful banana yellow.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
just go head to toe with banana yellow. Pair it with a blue tone. And if you're soft, go with a softer blue, but it's still a warm blue. But just going back to warm and bright, a bright yellow with bright royal blue
Really
is
fun.
everything. And we had a pattern on our call this month that had those two colors. I'm like, that just feels like I'm in Positano, Italy. That is so capri, so refreshing. So play with some of those interesting color
Yeah.
combinations. You
But
know,
let me give listeners a bonus really quickly. There are colors that are definitely feel like warm weather colors that are absolutely universal for, I'm going to say, for just about everyone. And challenge me if you think I'm wrong, but teal, which is
yeah, I was
basically a
gonna
green,
say
blue,
it.
blue, green.
Turquoise.
Turquoise, maybe not super bright if you can't wear the bright brights, but a turquoise. So anyway, so anything you describe as a green, blue, or blue, green, you can wear it. Everyone can wear it.
I
Wear
call
it.
them the ocean blue.
Gorgeous.
They're colors you see in the Mediterranean. They're colors you
Yeah,
see
and
right on the Gulf of
everyone
Mexico.
look can wear them because there's enough cool enough warm versions of them.
Those live on a spectrum.
Please
So
wear them.
you're just going to choose your color of teal, aqua, or turquoise. If you're cooler, you may want to pick one that has a little more blue to it if that
Right.
feels good to you. But these colors can have a lot of white added to
Yeah.
them, and that can get very light, or you can
Yes.
get the very pure forms. So
Right.
that's a group I think scream summer. To me, the ultimate summer colors are coral and teal and yellow
Isn't
and
that funny?
turquoise.
And for me, it's more of turquoise, teals, aqua blues, those green blues, those mint green on me. I love. So that's to me like, but however, if you look in my closet, you'll see mostly coral tops, mostly
A great,
coral.
another great
Yeah.
combination if you're cool too, because don't want to miss this one, especially if you're cool and bright and you don't really tan, is a very vibrant true pink with a very vibrant Kelly green or lime green.
Yeah.
That's
Super fun.
so cute. It has that preppy feel about
Oh
it.
yeah.
It's going to bring you to life, even if your skin is still fair and pale and you're feeling a little out of the
Yeah.
game for summer, but you want something fun. That's a great
Yeah.
combination. Um,
Super fun.
I just hope y'all wear these combinations we're giving you and don't
I
just stick with
know.
the same old thing all the time and get out the freaking yellow. And if you're really bright and warm, wear yellow and orange together. That would just stop traffic.
It would make Gail very happy.
It
So
would
if you want
stop.
Gail to be happy and you're listener
That's your
number
goal.
5, please
That's
wear that combo and post it somewhere.
everybody on here saying, how can we make Gail happy? But no, what Gail will do is stop you on the street and tell you how great you look. I do that regularly. Love your outfit. I mean, you can be a man, woman. I'm going to give you your props and your flowers if I
It,
see you on the street looking good.
Before we say goodbye to our listeners, I would like to ask anyone who's listening if you have a topic or a question that you would like us to answer on our next episode, please put it in the comments because we want some engagement. And we've been out here doing this now weekly. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to know what you want to learn and talk about. And please join in the conversation. So would
We
appreciate.
should do an entire episode of listener questions.
Yes, I would love that.
Both our listeners can
Post
submit
them.
questions, both of them.
Put them in the comments. Yep.
Yeah. Put them in the comments, or you can email support
Yep.
at yourcolorstyle.com. You can also visit the website if you're like, gosh, I need some help with all this. You can get a color analysis, you can get a makeup analysis, you can get styling, you can take a course on makeup, color, style. There's a
Yep.
bunch of free stuff out there, y'all. Like finding your signature color. There's a ton of free stuff on the website.
There
And then
is.
there's the blog out there too, where we give you a ton of content once or twice a week. We write blog posts for you. So there's no reason not to know.
I agree. No reason.
Until next time, go and get your Moxie on. Bye now.
Bye.